Hello there, traders. It is I, Sir Spotter, your resident spotter of the trades. GameStop getting a big smack there just in time to start the show. Boom, boom, boom. Welcome to my room. So I was about to point out that this land is your land and this land is my land. But it looks like our land is currently being invaded. So any suggestion of this being a nice show is out the window. We're going to have to skip that intro and go back to where we were always. Warriors. Warriors of the setting sun. In these turbulent times, with the sun as it is, shadows are dancing with deceit and treachery. It leaks out of the hearts of men. Come on, GameStop, stop doing this at the start of the show. Though it is very traditional. You're so caught in routine and tradition, GameStop. Eh? What would our ancestors say? Wee! They'd say, wee! They were very wise and venerable, so they enjoyed the dips. And we should take those wees as reminders of our sacred duty that we bear to defend this land and our honour and our people. Fuck off this nonsense. Price action, what you like? That's it flagging down there as well. That's not positive. But we do have a Rocky Outcrop flash back up. But this extended hours we've got it on, obviously. Markets have just closed. So I fix a stern gaze on price action. Join me as we fix a stern gaze. Okay? You know, you can fix your gaze on this assembled crowd as well. So, price action taking a little bit of a dip, despite the fact that we're anticipating positive news. This is where we would get it, right? If I'm on the wrong page, you let me know. That's a shocking move in price there. Bit of a surprise. Let me know in the chat box if I'm in the wrong place. This is the video details. Where's the... That's not what I want to see. You want to be on the live stream thing. God, that's useless. Anyway, GameStop there, 1331 flash. Like I say, flagging, potentially falling down. It's a 1 second time frame. Got the 15 second, there you see that boom from our resistance line that we had marked out at 1560 to our support line at 1275. I mean, people are going to say that's just made that up, but that you saw the price go there as it opened up the charts. This is a broadening wedge. It's down around target -2, that bottom side support now, and the resistance where we just came from. Broadening wedge, you know, Ken. Onto the hourly, you can see what that means. Volatility increasing in line with the previous increase in volatility. Linear increase there. Price action going through a linear expansion, which leaves it in this sideways formation, forming a broadening wedge. That's not particularly positive. As you can see, we came out of this formation to enter this one, a tightening to a broadening. So tightening, broadening, back and forth. Anyway, shut up, out of the 1 second time frame. Have you decided to cheer up yet, GameStop? Auto? No, not lock. Auto. And then we have to go back to fucking lob because notice that's the secret that's taken me out the game. So this is going to leave, obviously, a gap on the daily price action there. Tomorrow we'll open up with a great gap to aim to above if price action stays here. Whoa, we all love that. Isn't that half what everybody expected? Well, we do have a poll to see what people expected, don't we? Beware of the call of false prophets telling you that this is it, GameStop going up from now on, you never need to worry again. I still think there's a little bit of position management in order, if I'm honest. Which I am. So just ignore the charlatans who peddle their wares of recklessness and folly under the guise of entertainment. Their shows, in the main, are supported by trolls who pretend to be their friends in order to exploit them later and embarrass them. It's all very tragic, really. Those who would dare to lead our people astray. Luring them into perilous pursuit, says you, without thoughts for the consequence. They mock our ancient ways. They trivialize our art of war. And they'd see our noble traditions Mocked. Come on, GameStop, 1331. Let's go. What's this? Am I on the right page? Somebody want to update me if I'm on the wrong page. There it is, guys. Oh my God, there it is. GameStop. Net sales 1.79 billion for the quarter. They were 2.26 billion in the prior year's quarter. That's the headline figure. People would say it's not so bad because they've managed to cut costs but still managed to produce revenue. And so what we want to focus on is the profit margin. That's true. But a reduction in revenue also speaks to a potential squeezing on the market share. So we shall pay attention. Selling general administrative expenses, 359 million, 20% of net sales compared to 453 or 20.4 of net sales in the prior year quarter. So, SG&A expenses, this is the cost of doing business. You measure it as a percentage of your net sales and it gives you a ratio of how effective you are. So despite the prior year's efforts to cut costs, that ratio hasn't actually improved. So, while it was perhaps necessary to cut those costs and close those shops, it hasn't been that the shops doing the worst have been closed and those doing the best continue to power through. Net income was 63.1 million for the quarter compared to net income of 48.2 million. Cash equivalents, marketable securities, still right up there, 1.19 billion close of the quarter. I'm not even going to bother. Right, okay, so there was this loan, right, that the French government gave GameStop in 2019. Remember they called it COVID-19? Wow, that was so optimistic. So, yeah, the French government, they're always handing out money willy-nilly. You know that French socialism, all the rest of it. Net sales, well, we love them. Net sales, 5.273 billion for the fiscal year compared to 5.9. So, you know, looking at the figures we already saw with regards to revenue, not all that surprising. Also, cost of doing business. SG&A expenses 25.1%. This is overall for the year. Okay, great. For the year, this is it. Net sales 5.23 billion. Absolutely fantastic. 5.927 billion for the last year. Slightly better, but then, you know, they've closed a lot of stores and there's a big change in the overall sector. SG&A expenses 1.3, 25% of net sales compared to 28% a year prior. That's brilliant. 3% saving. That's more than 10% reduction in that one ratio. Brilliant. Net income was 6.7 million for the year compared to a net loss of 313 million. Boom. Net income. Adjusted earnings before income tax, depreciation and amortization, which is also known as EBITDA, 64.7 million compared to 192.7 million in the red on last year. So that's a huge improvement there, significant improvement. Non-GAAP measures, other metrics, not particularly cared about your regulatory notes. GameStop, here it is, those figures, those headline figures. That's interesting. Income tax expenses netted up to 63.1 from 48.2. No, it's down. It's 48.2 from... No, it's up. 63.1, 48.2. Good. Phew. Weighted average comes to blah, blah, blah. Diluted. Gan dam van dabadozi. Earnings before income tax 4%, 2.4%. There you go. That's obviously the big positive there. Net income 3.5 compared to 2.2. That's a material difference. We like that. Net sales, gross profit. We've already been through these details, but as you can see, not distinctly different. Slightly less. But we talked about that headline figures, and there's the earnings per share. Earnings per share, boom, 2 cents was minus $1. 3 cents previously, so earnings per share coming in 2 cents. Analyst expectations were for anywhere between 6, 12, 16, and topside I saw was around 30 cents. But I wouldn't measure GameStop's actual performance against analyst expectations because GameStop don't give forward guidance and don't give a flying shit about what the expectations of the analysts are. Like, in fact, actually disdain them, publicly comment on it constantly. And let's be honest, right? With the analysts, who are they? These people are from like Wedbush and whatever, right? They likely are short on the stock, the same firm, so we're going to give a fucking shit what they say? Probably not. Percentage of net sales 75.5%. Cost of sales, like we said, slight improvements, good news. Gross profit, 24% was 23%. So that's moving to the top side. That's all positive. And we got the earnings per share. Perhaps should be looking at the cash equivalents. January 2023 ended, February 3rd, 2024 ended 9.38 million. 9.38 million is the cash and cash equivalents, which is great to see. Though they say here, cash and cash equivalents marketable securities were 1.19 billion at the close of the quarter, fourth quarter close. And when you go down to that fourth quarter close, cash and cash equivalents restricted at the end of the period, it's not actually that figure. That's the previous figure. So is that detail incorrect? Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, from my glance, that's what it seems like. So, more reasons to add TradeSpot to the board. That's what I say. What do you guys say? That's not it again. This is GameStop. So it had a negative reaction. It's failed to meet expectations. And those charlatans who lead you up the garden path to tell you that your hard work's done, they try to control your expectations so that you have to live through disappointment, which weakens your resolve. They'll also tell you not to watch the line, that line being your income, wealth, health, and happiness. They tell you not to look at it. But you need to manage your positions, then you'll need to look at it. So that's what I say. What do I say here? That chat box. Earnings per share, 21 cents. Did I read 21 cents? Estimate was 29 cents. 2 cents. It was 2 cents earnings per share. Earnings per share 2 cents, not 21. Oh, basic earnings per share. How did I read 2? 0.2. Am I blind? It's 21. How did I... Wait, did I not... I'm sure I looked at that and said 0.2. I'm sure that happened, but maybe it didn't happen. Anyway, 16 cents previously, 21 there. That's a step in it up. So 21 is sort of in between, in between. It's mostly not hitting those 30-cent targets, but I think that they were a little bit... those earnings per share estimates were based on cost attributions that GameStop is not interested in. In fact, GameStop don't go out of their way to make the earnings per share ratio look good. They haven't done it in any of their earnings since Cohen took over, and even less of a focus since Furlong left. So 21 cents, I think it's pretty much in the middle there. The fact that they made a profit and they made a full year profit, this is what people were looking for. They were looking for a growth narrative, of course. We don't see anything about holding company investments here. Is there any notice about that? I didn't get right to the bottom because who cares about reading their regulatory statements? Free cash flow. Well, after Christmas. Right, so bing bong, the price is wrong. Let's get back to the price. 15.50. No, that was at close. Current price $12.94. Get this guy up so you can see it easier. 12.94.1, 12.89. Stop doing that. This reminds me of the... I don't like that. Stop doing that. So, price action GameStop not particularly fantastic in reaction to those earnings. Down at 12.87. Hasn't broken the previous level of support. It is post-market, so sort of people who can push a stock price around in post-market would need to have enough money to trade and absorb most of the book. Closed, there's nothing going to be added to it. Only certain people have access. Again, only certain people that trade in size have access. And so an immediate reaction like this would later be painted in these shitty news articles, who are also sponsored by the same people who give you those either too hard to achieve earnings per share unrealistic targets to later say you're disappointed against. Those companies are also very correlated to the firms that are able to push prices around post-market. So they would tell you, the same firms would tell you that retail were super set and so sold their shares because the fundamentals just weren't strong enough. But the truth is that nobody invested in GameStop back in January 2021 gave a flying shit about the fundamentals, and I don't think they're going to have completely and utterly changed their perspective now. Really, no, they're not. They're not actually focused on that so much. And we also know that the reality is that the retail don't push prices around. They certainly don't do it post-market, and they don't react negatively to that sort of information that we just read out. In the main, it was kind of like what people expected. So what did we? Where's our? I'm gonna have to go here to get to the poll. I have to go and join you guys.
Hello,
to get
my name is John.
Hello, John. Nice to meet you. I don't care though, John. I want to get to the poll. End the poll. You've got 5 seconds to take part in the poll. 5, 4, 3, and stuff. Yeah. So you're looking at the prior daily low is now topside resistance at 1331. If you drop a fib on there, so your 236 also comes in at that same level, so 1330, very much resistance at the minute. Managed to conquer that, you might be targeting back up around 1423, 1491, and then coming in for, I suspect that you'll find a lot of congestion at 1497 and 1537. If you want to, the name of that bar, ask me on Discord if you want to know the name of the bar that are constantly emptying their bottles there in my back garden that they don't have access to. So I can give you their details so you can go along and leave them a negative review for being a bunch of fucking fannies. I'll give that name and Google link to everyone on Discord after the show, so they get what they deserve. Fucking knobs! Right, so back to the good news. Companies form, KK form, Plumline Mission Groups. Hey, whoa, what the yeah, we just read this. Why are you giving me a link to it again? Anywho, yes, GameStop down $3 post-market, $2.40, whatever. The targets to the break to the top side back up above 1330. Start rescuing that. You could be talking about going into this area. It's fair value gap, so you probably test it at some point. This formation though, and that rejection, not particularly positive. What you really want to see is this thing back above 1330 and a basis line within this broadening wedge. Wedge, the longer you're at the bottom, the less positive that is. You can see you've had significant number of touches top and bottom side. So both levels of support and resistance are equally valid there. Have to be careful with that. So that is interesting. This the right thing. Top chat, that's not useful. Live chat, how's it going, guys? I said 22 in the comments. Bull, you are so very close there, sir. So very, very close. Nice wee summary there from Moonlander. You got a couple of different details in. Also 2023, so that's the earnings per share improvement over the piece. You can see back in January 2023, 21st to the 3rd, earnings per share 16 cents. Then minus 14, minus 3, even 21 cents. So it's a positive trend there, Moonlander. Very positive trend. What's this dude talking about? Award-winning resin driveways in Edinburgh. Look, there are not awards given out for resin driveways. There aren't.
Johnny,
Though I appreciate this advert on my video, John. That's a nice car.
The world's first resin
yeah, now that looks fucking awful. Sorry. Oh, it's me. Anyway, I wanted to look at the chat box. Look, there's multiple chat boxes. You ever get your values worth on this channel, don't you? It's 1274. I'm not super positive about that, right? So it's broken the continuation break. The previous lows. You definitely need to get back above 13 at this stage, or the drop continues down to the 1 minute, where we'll see this violence, unregulated violence. Did you see Putin try to say that the heinous terrorist attacks in Moscow were planned by the West, or some other vile, heinous, stupid, shit fucking mouthed lie? The short-arsed fuckwit needs to shut his stupid mouth. We abhor that type of behavior, and we have a common enemy. The Russians can't even share a common enemy with us. The fucking, what are they like? Anyway, blessed are the cheesemakers. So I really think they should sort that out. And I think he demonstrates how much of a tube he is constantly. What about the ship into the Baltimore Bridge? Japers, creepers, eh? You know, everybody on Discord was super interested. Now we're talking about how the implications for traders. Initially we were talking about how tragic it is that there's people on the bridge at the time that happened, and that was the focus. Then later on we were talking about how like nothing's going to get out the harbour, and it's like, oh my goodness gracious me, what a shit bridge it was anyway, let's face it. I mean, the state of the thing. GameStop, Q4 earnings. Profits rise despite lower sales. How did they put it? Ben, hi Ben. GameStop's for this is very quick, but you've really got your money's worth there, didn't you, Ben? What salary are you on? That's a bit of a joke. How many words are this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and there's about 10. That's about 90 words. Jesus, Ben. Mr. Glickman. So GameStop, we know the name of the company, and they dropped their straight quarter sales dropping. That's what he's got, right? Sales dropping compared with a year ago. That's what he's going with. And he talks about the earnings per share was 16, now it's 21. Stripping out certain one-line items, profit of 22 cents a share. Okay, well, great. 21 was fine. So company's revenue fell 19%. 19%, that's not too bad considering, well, I mean, you would want to look at the cost cutting, but we can already tell that because they've got a positive earnings per share, they cut costs by a greater percentage than they cut revenue, leading to increased profits. Ta-da, it's pretty obvious there. It is a freaking scary ass bridge. Da-boom! Never let a good crisis go to waste. Good point, Tom. Yes, never let a good... Why are we still looking at this? We don't want that. We want a GameStop. And we don't care about Ben and his little waste of paper writing. Yo, go for it, GameStop. Alrighty. I mean, obviously people will be looking at this, and they do have access to buy it. They'll think that's considerably cheaper than it was earlier on at $15.68. The initial reaction to earnings may be the direction it's ultimately going, but on the 30-minute time frame, you've only come down to support. So, what's the nature of a broadening wedge here? Like, you don't have the privilege and the luxury of supporting your higher highs with consecutively higher lows, which is how you define an uptrend. Instead, you've got higher highs and lower lows. So people would potentially say this is distribution going on. We shall see upon the break. You would also look at the formation that price action was in upon entering it, and we showed you that already and talked about how it was a period of consolidation. Then you go back to the overall trend, lower highs, lower lows, and then you'd be talking about, we've already covered the chart formation here, lower time frames, talking about the bigger long-term downward sloping channel, which we talked about in various number of ways. Go back up now, daily time frame, put that on, and this move in context. Come on, price action, what is this? Freaking on your CS. So, yeah, I mean, this is a channel. I can put it different colors so that you notice it as I do that. That's a nice color. Go with that color. I meant the one next to it, but that's still good. So, as you can see, yellow lines, that's the outer boundary. Basis lines, that's white. Yeah, serrated. It's this white line in the middle with the dots. So there you're looking at price action, testing that if it drops down, testing topside resistance if it moves to topside. The sooner price action does that, the higher this resistance will be. And the 200 period moving average now, skirting along the top side of that line, suggests that when it does break, the trend could potentially end up being tested even on this daily time frame. You'll be looking at higher highs in at around 27. Target 2 needs to get there to break this downward sloping trend as defined with the lower highs, lower lows, low highs, lower lows. Hey folks, we got 234 freaking people watching. Thanks very much. Hit that like button, it's really appreciated if you can. Why this nuts and dip from minis 330 to mil loss, 7 million profit? Why the dip? So companies, especially tech companies or retail companies that are involved in tech sector at all, especially, you'll be looking at this as a growth narrative. You know, where's the growth coming from? Because the growth speaks to capital expansion, means that there's return on investment somewhere. Even if that's not in terms of earnings per share being profitable right now, it might be, you know, companies' R&D might lead to a loss, but then subsequently they capitalize on that and grow as a business. For example, Reddit recently, you know, their accountant's balance sheet shows a loss because they've been plowing all their money into R&D. When that starts to pay off, then they'll have positive implications because that R&D is about growing their user base, and so exploiting the new technology and applying that new technology that they've developed, you know, I'm using the terms here, it might not be technology as you understand it, it might just be whatever, interface change. They then deliver a growth narrative, and investors are looking for a growth narrative, right? Because they want to be able to sell this to somebody else later on, right? And this is the same with most businesses, right? Everybody, even the CEO, right down to us as traders, when you're buying it, you want to be able to pass it off to somebody else in a healthy position for them to take it on further and do even better with it. You don't want to sell somebody a dead donkey, but you also want to be confident of your investment to those levels. So you're looking for the idea of it being a growth narrative which will gather pace, and somebody later on who likes to exploit stage 2, 3, 4 onwards, they'll take it off your hands and take the run then. You want it to garner enough attention and enough velocity to be doing that sort of thing yourself. So you want a growth narrative. And you don't necessarily get that just because you're posting a profit. You could post a consistent profit, and it certainly doesn't necessarily speak to expanding market share. And if that market itself is getting smaller, then there's an existential concern from an investor point of view. Even if it looks like the company won't necessarily go to zero, it does look like their market is shrinking. And so that's the opposite and antithesis of a growth narrative. So you want to have a company that's expanding in its market share, and that's a comparative ratio. You measure it against their competitors. You want that market they're in to be growing, and you want it itself to be part of a hyped viral topic that people love talking about and investing in. So for example, at the minute, that's AI when it comes to real world stocks. Over the last week or so in cryptocurrency, it's been about the tokenization of real world assets. In the week prior, it was AI stocks, and it will be again. That cycle continues through these few hyped assets. You're not seeing that same enthusiasm with regards to GameStop. Previously, there was really positive and wise, intelligent, empathetic, dynamic individuals pushing the idea of GameStop and the opportunity that represented in Roaring Kitty. And now the sphere is mostly dominated by delusional idiots who've no idea what they're fucking talking about, who, like Mattress Rants, who attacks all the other GME YouTubers, associates with far-right politics in America and like Holland, Germany, everywhere, right? Like the little group of toxic influencers, the GME elitists they call themselves, they are also all fake and on GME Meltdown, ridiculing every conversation of positivity they start under their fake name. And they make it so that any new people arriving at this potential opportunity to change the world hear like Mattress Rants and a tannoy saying negative things about all their other investments. Whether that be things that are also taking away the limelight from GameStop, that's one way of looking at it, but other people would tell you that BBBY now, BBB at the time, and AMC all had extremely high short interest too when it was relevant for GameStop. But that's not the only critique. They also talk about anything else, everything else is a scam. So most people who would be involved in trading and would look to buy more stocks would then be slightly perturbed by that tone that comes across in the GameStop community, little b. And then also the wave that brought new people into GameStop that won't care who it is that's talking about it. They just want to support everybody that's got anything to say about the stock price going up, and that everybody's jumping in at the same time. They don't even have enough time to take a breath to explain to somebody else why it is they're doing what they're doing, because everybody's just so excited. Those people, they're new traders, most of them, who've never traded before, or who haven't traded for 10, 15, 20 years and are now looking to make a fucking difference in the stock markets. They think, this is my team coming back. This is, and they get off the bench, right? They come out of the reserves. They'll leave the home army and they sign up for this fucking fight because they were born for it. They've been there before. They know the experience. They're a veteran. They're back and they invest in just GameStop. Well, there's only so many cycles you can go through of that, And the next ones you'd be getting would be brand new to the stock market. We've got the veterans, and those people, they want a positive narrative. They want to see growth. They want the meme stock idea. They want the enthusiasm, the funny jokes, the camaraderie, the sense of community, the sense of purpose. That's what they want. New people who are investing in a stock, they want that excitement, right? Otherwise, they just buy NVIDIA. Super easy trend, going to the top side, very easy to control that. What's it been doing today? down 2.57%.
Hi, you fucking idiots and your stupid stock. And what's AI anyway? It's never going to do anything. You see? You're fucking stupid. You should have been buying GameStop.
You see, that sort of attitude, that doesn't win you any friends. Definitely doesn't bring anything to the thing. So the point you're talking about is you're going to be looking at things like people are invested in things that have got a positive trend, and then you want them to be thinking, well, GameStop's also similar. So if it can manage to get that sort of thing, it's great. Now, another positive reason why about GameStop that's sort of different from other stocks that, you know, a lot of people who've been in GameStop like ourselves all this time don't always perceive or aren't always aware of, is that when Roaring Kitty and Co first got involved in this thing, and like when I first bought the thing, it was in around $5-6, and stopped buying it before the squeeze in at around $11, you know, and this was really, really cheap, cheaper than it's been since the squeeze. So those are really, really, really cheap prices. Maybe you would say back then that the company's intrinsic value was obviously worth more than that. So they were getting these really cheap opportunities at the low, when everybody was like rushing into the stock, and it provided this huge profit potential on the percentages from smaller numbers. And so GameStop, unlike other stocks, still has that massive potential to run up 10-15% from these really, really low levels, right? Not what we've seen so far, but really, really low. At least you'd be looking at price action coming in. That's not GameStop, it's NVDA. Fuck off, NVIDIA. I'm looking at GameStop here on the weekly time frame and talking about this low here, right? The bing bong, the price is wrong, right? In around here, 9.85, 9.89. This is when that narrative is true again. This intrinsic value is higher than this. There's going to be loads of people looking at it because that's long-term support and it's reached long-term lows and it's bounced here big time before. There'll be people looking around saying they've got a profit. It's not necessarily throwing your money on a fire just to fuck the hedge funds. This might actually turn around and not cost you anything at the end of the day. Even better yet, you might make a killing. So there's this idea coming back into the stock when it gets to these low prices. Hey, this is all of today's show, is an example in how you be confident in your investments. You don't listen to stupid people like Mattress France and the other stupid idiots who are toxic losers ruining the GME community. Don't listen to them. No, like you be aware your peers watching them are all actually meltdowners. Bling bling. Some legend there, just check that. What was that legend? Did I get it on time? I did, it was space! Somebody becoming a member. Legend. So what we're looking for is positive narrative, stock price to be lower, bing bong, than the intrinsic value, price is wrong. That'll give it this impetus. There'll be loads of people coming into the stock to invest in it because that long-term support, that positive move from those lows doesn't necessarily trigger profit taking. If the narrative isn't based around event psychology, such as earnings, and nor is it based around fundamentals, which themselves can change over time and don't guarantee anything, but is actually based on a huge ripping in price action from extreme lows, and then it's shown to be in 2 or 3 weeks time when price action consolidates at resistance and those social media influencers are asked to share their positions, or people on Reddit, subreddit are like, look, I've just de-arrested another 7% of the float or whatever it is. You know, they look back and they say these people are holding those buys, then the short narrative starts to lose any credibility, because the only reason it makes sense is at the minute is if the wider world believe that there's lots of GameStop holders selling shares. If it was seen to be or known to be that the majority of sales in GameStop are from people who never initially owned the stock and only bought it subsequently, that is to say the majority of sales on GameStop were not from people who currently own the thing, then you'd be able to perceive the agenda that the shorts have. They're trying to push it down. They're not taking an investment decision that this thing's going to go down in value and subsequently they'll make some money. Nor are they doing it even in an ethical fashion whereby a short on GameStop's a hedge on a competitor such as Best Buy, and if they both go down they'll at least recoup losses from one of those two moves, and perhaps they're using leveraged puts in order to reduce the cost of one side of that trade so that any cost of a reduction will ultimately not cost them any money, okay? That's a hedge fund in the traditional sense. Perhaps they're doing that sort of thing. That would be ethical from a market operator perspective. But if it's simply that, they're not long anything else, they're not buying the shares until they close out the short position, and the majority of short trading is from those type of people as opposed to profit taking or people who previously owned the shares selling them, then that's completely fucking unethical. And I'm not from a trace button, you're just like an activist investor, nobody cares about this shit anymore. No, it's from the regulators want price discovery. They don't want price suppression. Yes, they want liquidity to close the spread, right? To close the spread, not to close the company down. They want liquidity to close the spread. That's the point, right? You'll increase liquidity, lower spread, lower volatility, less inherent danger for market participants in general. This is the objective, right? What do they actually end up doing? If most of the money coming in to short the thing is exclusively doing it to push the company down, that's not what the regulators want to see. So, while they might not be able to slish canny with a wet fish, they will have some intervention because of that. Yo, natural friend! There's the pull. I can't take part in the poll! What do you mean? This action cannot be performed. Okay, whatever. TracePoint, do you think GME will mention investment in assets in earnings call? Much love, GME. Yo, natural friend! How's you and the family? Total legend. Love you, my friend. You're a fucking hero. Right, what was I saying? What was the question? Well, sorry. Yeah, what do you think GME mentioned in the earnings call? Are they even going to have an earnings call? I'm kind of sure that this is the earnings call. Do you think GME will mention investments and assets? If they have, are they actually having an actual one? If they are, you tell me. I'm gonna listen to it. I don't think they're going to have an earnings call per se. I think that's what we've just seen, and we haven't seen anything mentioned. But that would have been the growth narrative, you know. So before I was talking about how, that's the one that came through. Thanks very much, natural friend. That's really appreciated. Cheers, my friend. Everybody's glad to see you here. So yeah, they didn't mention it. But I said on Discord earlier on today, at least, or else it was in the chat box in here, you know, it would be wise to throw in some investment decisions, those facilities now available to GameStop via the holding company. That's what Natural Friend's talking about. He's talking about how, you know, previous results, we got the news that GameStop and Ryan Cohen alongside it was able to trade now equities, securities, bonds, cash securities, and other tradable assets, warrants, notes, you got it. He was able to trade these things, and GameStop is now able to trade those things legally with the facilities of a holding company. And we put it out there then that this is a really good avenue for Ryan Cohen to invest in a company that may be or may not be related to GameStop's sector, either via retail or computer games. It doesn't really matter, right? It's actually stick to your knitting, but there's a big, broad opportunity here. It could be any of those spheres that they're investing in a company that would be related or complementary to GameStop, and it might then not be a company that was limited to sales that come from inside brick and mortar stores, which would allow GameStop to unleash Ryan Cohen's actual skills, right? Now, if I was in charge of anything, and I'm in charge of a number of things, I like to put the people that I've got, that I like this. See, if I see somebody and I think that they're good at doing something, right, I have them do that thing, right? Not, I don't like, oh, you know, you're really good at football, why don't you come and run my canteen? No, you're really good at football, you're really good at kicking the ball really fucking hard, and you get it on target every time you, so you're going to put you up front, and you're going to score loads of fucking goals. And then my team's going to win. And that's what you want to see, right? And now if Ryan Cohen was on my team, I'd put him up front scoring loads of fucking goals. At the minute, he's like a deep playmaker, conducting a lot of different plays, which is all well and good, but if the other 10 people in your team are shit, then, you know, it doesn't take a good 11 to beat you. They can be average. You're only one man. So we want Ryan Cohen in his best position. So the holding company gives us that ability. Not in that the context of his work in acquiring and operating will be exploiting his best skills, though that's true too. It's in the nature of those businesses, and then being potentially e-commerce. And he launched Chewy, and that was about distribution, logistics, and retail online. So we think there's a lot of an opportunity there. What was the question? It was not your friend. What do I think about it? Yeah, so I don't think they're going to be an earnings call, but if there is, I'm listening with you guys. And I think that they won't be talking about these assets because we would have noticed it alongside this report. There would have been a filing to go with it. But I was saying on Discord earlier, if the earnings per share is positive and we expect it to be over, say, 30 cents per share, then GameStop will make sure. Now, they'll be aware of this in advance, right? This is assuming that GameStop do their accounting not 5 minutes before the fucking deadline, right? But they've got an accountant and so on. And they'll be doing it, so they'll be aware of this evolving balance sheet. And they're also aware of the earnings dates and when they have to report by. They also know the rules and regulations with regards to filing about these investments. Ba-da-ba-ding! Thank you! Family's doing great. Appreciate you, my friend. Love to see results of Ranco's trades. I think GME should join a GME trading desk. Well, fuck yeah. I need to keep a seat one for you, my friend, and everybody else in the Doomslayers. Wow, we could do so much. We could do so much for them. And, you know, Ryan Cohen's got this ability to do that, and GameStop with the trading desk have got to do that. You could just stick me on there and it would make a fucking massive difference. I think you have to apply, and I noticed that Ryan Cohen did say something on Twitter about I'll be working with people, but they wanted Java and experience in programming development, which is all well and good, right? I have some of that, but it's not where I want to spend my time and efforts. I'm also know what my own skills are, and they're on that trading desk. So, or sitting on the board telling people how to do their job fucking properly, but I wouldn't take money for that. I would be getting paid on the trading desk. So the point you were making was, are they going to talk about these investments? And I was saying that Ryan Cohen, I was working my way around to saying that Ryan Cohen's not a fucking chump, right? You don't have to think he's the world's greatest chief executive or CEO in order to say he's not fucking stupid. He knows how the situation goes, right? He's not doing earnings calls because he thinks that it's catering to the suits and those in neck attire who are only interested in shorting your fucking business. He's got a completely different perspective, and he's trying initially was the stated goal was to go through a period of transition. So he's certainly not interested in paying lip service to a bunch of suits who really want to see his company fail, and that's why he's not necessarily doing earnings calls. It's not because he's not got a voice or he sounds like a mouse. And though that might be true, right? You know, Ryan, you got a sore throat or something? So I was saying that actually if your earnings per share is coming out to beat expectations, then you fold in the good news because it fucking smashes the bad guys out the water, right? They completely shit a brick, they go close their shorts, people go long, and price action breaks through resistance. Nobody wants to be caught on the wrong side of that shit. So if it was going to be the earnings per share were coming out at beating the analyst expectations, then Ryan Cohen might have delivered a roundhouse inside that envelope. But he's obviously aware of these expectations that analysts set. He sees the balance sheet evolving in front of him, and as such, it's good to watch price get knocked back down again. Yo, manner. It's good to watch price get knocked back down after earnings, and then 2 or 3 days later, then release that filing saying we've invested in X, Y, and Z. Now, that sounds like extreme hopium, which it is, and you could never base a trade on that, and people would clip that and say, look, this guy earnings came out negative, and so he says that in 2 or 3 days there's going to be some mythical, magical multitude of filings pulled out of Ryan Cohen's ass just to please him. That's what people would say, and they'd be right in saying that. That's not what I'm trying to get at. What I'm saying is that if Ryan Cohen was going to be announcing news about investments, because of the circumstances as they've evolved, it'd be better if he did it in 2 to 3 days. You won't be doing it on Friday. Nasdaq's shut. So are other things. Maybe you would. That would be a good day, right? Amex is closed Friday, right? A number of large exchanges are closed. Maybe it would be a great, you know, again, that's completely pulling out your fucking hairy arse. There's like nothing to say about that trace one. But if you were doing it, that would be better. Now, I was saying it on Discord, aware of the fact that part of my message at the time was tempering expectations with regards to these filings. We might not see one, was the implicit comment there. That's not to say that we won't see one, and it is to say that if we do, it might not necessarily come out at the same time as earnings. It might be other times you could do it, and it's good to do one thing at a time in other ways. Bing bong, minute 33 months. 33
33.
Right, there's the poll. You go away, poll. How do I get to it? It's in here. It's in here somewhere. Where's my poll? Yes. Have I voted already? I have. Close poll then. What did we get? We got a number of people who weren't necessarily positive. No danger, 14%. That's not bad. That's quite a healthy number. Obviously, I don't know if those are all meltdown trollers who are hoping to see you cry into your cornflakes. But if it's just 14% of the overall audience who were invested in GameStop but have got longer horizons and aren't too crazy about... I know a number of people very well who will have voted no danger. And they're very positive about GameStop. So I know that that's probably a healthy number. I agree, but I think it's irrelevant. So they're all healthy numbers. 42% thinking yes and it'll be expectations. That's not desperately bad. You know, people will be quite positive and they want it to be. Another month, another milestone. Happy Earnings Day. Happy milestone, everybody. Yes, everybody, that's very true. Happy milestones, true. You know, it is true. I wanted to start the show with some happy things to talk about, but then price action started getting smacked down like literally the second I went to go live. So we cast it a disdainful scoff, and we looked to an imagined empty space where price could be. Obviously, as a GameStop investor, you'll be aware of this concept, right? The presence of price is felt more keenly when it is not there, right? So we're very aware of the fact that price is not in at around $29.35 or even $19.95, and its absence makes us even more aware of that presence. So, bada-ba-ding, bada-ba-dong. I'm very much positive long term on GameStop, and if you're wondering why, it's because of this. We haven't managed to break below that previous low. That was a support area. The squeeze went through that. I very much anticipate, should price action get back there, it'll bounce. I think if you were looking to break this downward sloping resistance, right, that people talk about it as being there for 2 years, I can tell you it's been there for 3, right? I can tell you it's 3 years now. But people say that 2-year downward sloping channel, guys, you've been saying that for longer than a year. It's a 3-year downward sloping channel. But that downward sloping channel, if it's going to break, price action testing this area as support in advance of that break is much more likely than it testing anywhere else on this channel at all, even below it, right, before bouncing. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to get past it in order to, but the point I'm making is that horizontal is more important than anywhere else on the diagonal which intersects with it. Way more important and way more likely to lead to a break on the topside resistance, because this is where the volume is. This is a confirmation of potentially long-term support and then a bounce. It's also previously been support, whereas none of these levels have been. And so this is where we're looking for a bounce to break through these levels of resistance. Now, I explained brief concepts of this to some of the people on Discord months and months ago in preview, and one of them ran off, set a shop up across the road, and completely fucked up the advice he was giving everyone, saying it's going to be $12 before earnings, it's going to be. And I watched 2 of the people who previously stopped listening to me because they were so obsessed with this knob, and they spoke to me this week about how they'd been waiting for earnings, and they didn't think it was getting to $12. Got a message from one of them today saying they just bought it, and this is the way you go, yeah, right? I explained to that particular, and I explained this to lots of different people. If it gets to $12, it's very likely it's going to 9.89, maybe even 9.85 if you could bear that extra 4 cents. It's very, very likely it goes there, and it's probably going to go there off the back of a rejection from above, as opposed to going straight to support and falling straight through it. So you can expect bounces just above it, and you could potentially anticipate rejections at the top side. Now, they didn't remember any of that. They just remembered 12. They thought 12 was a 10, and we're going to get to 12. And we're, whoa, I got it, 12! And that was, you know, the danger of listening and only half listening. Anyway, point being, this is where the horizontal level is, and when the basis line of this downward sloping channel interacts with that, that's much better if price action meets the basis line and the downward sloping basis line here and the horizontal at the same time, as opposed to reading, the support level within that channel, right? The bearish side of the channel, because that's where it breaks down from. Actually, if it bounces off the basis line, this is potentially going to break off the top side, right? Especially if it's come from the top side, found a support at the basis line, gone to the top side, found support at the basis line, gone to the top side, not a full rejection, gone to the top side, and then boom, it's going through it, right? So that's what we'll be looking for. And you can probably fold body close into that. It's looking for it to find support at a significant level. Looking left, you know where that is. Meeting the diagonal horizontal. That horizontal diagonal intersection is a crucial place for it to get long-term support. At that point, you're probably going to find some resistance if it does break the downward sloping channel at the 200 period moving average. That's at $25. So we're looking for entries in around 12 to 10. We're looking for bounces that break $15 and change in the most recent high that we put in post the pre-earnings announcement, and then we're looking to test this level at $19.95, $21 and change, and then the 200 period moving average, where you'll likely find resistance at $24.95. Price action takes a while to get there. It'll be $25, $27. Then target 3 up at $29. If you can break that, it's $35. $35 on GameStop will happen in future. That's not financial advice. It's very much my strong conviction. I anticipate that happening. $35. In order to get there, it has to go through very, very strong levels of resistance. It might, again, take a lot of time. And those are things that some people don't like. We'll be honest and upfront about them. What are all these bings and bongs? I like to see the bings and bongs. 5 memberships from Mr. Kitties. Thank you so much, Kitties. Kitties never die. 5 memberships. Colin, Sauced, Ball, Hennings. How come Nigel Friend didn't get any? He should add one. BGM Shadow. Brilliant, brilliant. Peanut Butter. Awesome. Brilliant. Good to see you, Mr. Butter. Good to see you, Mr. Butter. How's it going? Not in real life. Not in real life. Not in real life. Not in real life. We talking about crypto again. People only hear what they want to hear and throw out the rest. You're damn right they do, Jake. So welcome all those brilliant people. Great to see you, Jake. Total legendary lieutenant in a chat box. And Jack to the tits. But Jack to the tits, Fanny. Legend. Legend sourced. Just need to turn off the force field. Bing bong. Yo, Vicey. Yeah, the force field. Why is this guy on the screen again? Nobody wants your driveways, mate. Nobody wants your... Honestly, no one does. Like... would you? I don't know. Do people pay for people to do their driveways? Is that still a thing? I thought we had inflation and whatnot. That's not a thing, surely, right? I mean, I've been doing my whole fucking house up, but don't know why now. I can't remember why I decided to do it myself. Probably someone like John there on his award-winning driveways came around and reminded me that I should be doing it myself. I'm a man, am I? You're a goddamn man already. Anyway, so this broadening wedge price action looks fantastic there on the weekly, doesn't it? Fuck's sake. It doesn't look terrible in the 4 hour, but then, you extended hours on, you're going to load up in a second, it's going to be a shock. Oh my god, Spada! This is a continuation break. See the what if files? I sound like the fish off the what, or is it? No, it's called what the F. Is it? Anyway, that dude has a fish. I sound like his fish. Yeah! An evil version. So AMC is holding $4. I've got no problem with AMC investors. I think AMC investors are trying to do the same thing as GME investors. I do think Aron Adam needs to stop saying negative things on the day of GME earnings. I don't know. It's like about like you're just going to attract people who like tell you shut up and stop doing that. Not me. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. I mean, if he was saying something negative about GameStop, you'd be like, well, at least it's GameStop's earnings. But go and shut up. Now it's like, but it's not even AMC's earnings, mate. Why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Also, like I was saying earlier on, GameStop, it would be great if it had a growth narrative. I'm not trying to bring the company down or say, this is stupid, you're investing in it. Obviously, I'm not saying that. Nor would I be saying about AMC. But when the guy's all like, look, we're not going to make it without money. The best thing that ever happened to us was when we previously diluted. At some stage, we're maybe having to do that again. Corporate oxygen, something, right? That's all well and good, but it's definitely not a growth narrative, is it? What you're saying is, without an injection of capital, which would come at the expense of current shareholders' valuations, without that injection of capital, we're not an investable business. That's what he's saying when he says these. That's all he's saying. Nobody cares about his feelings. Nobody cares about his, the tone, his grammar. Nobody gives a fucking shit. And like I say before, people like, if you're a CEO or any board member, right, you have to be fucking amazing. Or you have to make sure that company doesn't go to zero, right? Just be not completely shit. But if you're anywhere between not completely shit and quite good or really good, you might as well be really fucking boring and average, because really fucking good isn't good enough. If you're talking about, say, companies that are investable to every human being across the world, listed on the biggest exchanges, part of the biggest indices, aspire to be part of the S&P 500, the top 500 companies in America, trying to turn over billions and billions and billions of more revenue every year. If you're trying to do that sort of thing, right, you know, it's very much a growth narrative. You want a growth narrative. You don't want to be saying, shit, where's some more money here? We're fucked, guys. That puts people off. So that's what you're looking for. Now, that's just advice to Adam Aron. I don't actually have anything against the guy. I don't think he's doing it to push down the price of GameStop. I don't think he does that. I think what happens is GameStop and AMC are so linked in conversation, whether you like it or not, that's the fact. And as a result of it, one of the manifestations is he feels like, you know, it's time for him to say something, because the AMC investors, they don't have an earnings call to look to. They do have a CEO. They want to hear his thoughts, and he thinks it's the right time to talk to him. So fair enough. You know, whatever, right? Actually, I have a problem. But I do think, like, you know, he's definitely not saying something that makes any AMC investor happy, at least like the ones that care about the context of his conversation. So that was that. What else did I miss there? Kitty's got loads of them, and there was another question I missed, I think. Did I? What did I miss? 9 minutes. J. Corn the Cob, legend. GME, just associated myself over the weekend. J. Corn the Mr. Cobb. Kicking myself, I didn't do it sooner. Pah! Eh? Well, don't kick your tool too hard. What fantastic tea you provide to all your millionaires. Stay close, Jay. Stay close. My eyes survived. Yes! Yes! Thank you very much, Jay in the corner, Company, 22 months. Sarah, 31 months, another milestone. I am not a cat. 33 months yourself. I am not a cat. Total legend, him there. Very, very wise. Wise, not a cat. He is a cat. Minner, 33 months as well. You guys are friends. And a natural man. Andrew tipped me yesterday. MP Materials Corp, MP Dot, and L Dot. Loblaws. Oh, Loblaws. We've had a look at Loblaws before. We'll have another one. I'll get to that in a later section in the show. Thank you very much, Andrew. I don't want to put off the current viewers who are interested in the current topic is GameStop. But that's really good facts. You gave me loads of details there, and I'll get back to it with top information, Andrew. I'll make sure that I do my absolute best by you, my friend. I'll give you a completely unbiased, proper take of the charts with a video, and I'll be talking about it all exclusively for you, give you the best possible answers, help you manage your risk, the best possible take profit targets. It won't be financial advice, but it'll be exactly the same as what financial would be if you were getting it, but it isn't. So okay, you know, I say that because I really want you to take your own risk and make your own decisions, and I'm only helping add context to your own actions. It really isn't financial advice, and if you were to just do exactly what I said without adding any of your own thoughts or context, then you too would probably feel like you were being cut out of this process. That's no good. You want to be part of it. Traceborn, why are you wasting so much time and effort on a dead stock? We want some real results instead of bumping money into a stock which has been dying. Max Bromer, that's not a bad point you're making there, sir. That's very rational. It speaks to my motivations. It speaks to taking care of people who'd be watching along. You're trying to be reasonable in your communication. I suspect you might be, you know, definitely sharing the vector that a wise troll would use. But it's a good question, right, Max? Why am I wasting so much time and effort on a dead stock? Make that even better for you, mate. I look after my dad. That's my job as a full-time carer. I am a trader. That's where I get my money from. I'm a professional trader, trained professionally, work for the world's largest investment banks. But my day-to-day is a full-time carer for my dad. So I wake up in the morning, I know he's got a brain tumor, help him get out of bed. He's got one fake knee, the other one's completely busted now, can't even sit up in a chair properly right now. I help him do everything he needs to during the day. I get him his shopping in, help him clean up his house, take care of the cat when it's there, and I make sure he has got a really good quality of life, which is tough. And I do my best by him, also take care of his health insurance, you know, which doesn't cover people with a brain tumor. So if he needs a CT scan, he needs anything, right? You need somebody to come in, stick him in a big donut machine. I'll pay for it. The nurses, the wartime, everything. and you can't get it in Edinburgh because he's got other bits of metal in his head from other things that have happened. So he needs to go to a machine with the right Tesla number, and the only way that is, it's very far away, so I have to pay for the transport there and back. So why would I spend any minute of my day or any dollar of my fucking earned money talking about or focusing on GameStop? And the reason is because in 2021, the fucking bastards that provide liquidity to the short side of the market, the unethical wankers who use this idea of liquidity trumping price discovery, which is freedom, right? That's what freedom is! Those bastards who try to steal your freedom, they identified themselves. They're on the other side of the GameStop trade. They identified themselves. It doesn't matter about the fundamentals, the meme stock, the funny joke, or who's on the CEO or the board member. I don't give a fuck! I give a fuck about the bastards that my family and my fucking people have been fighting for years and years before I was born. The same bastards who disenfranchised me. And I know, because I come from a class-based society. Here in Britain, we're not worried about, your neighbour's fucking racism. We're worried about how they've all got their fucking foot on someone else's head. And that culture has to end. We know what these bastards are like. They identified themselves. They're on the other side of the GameStop trade. And I want to get my fucking hands around them. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I said to people in January 2021, if you've never bought GameStop before, don't buy GameStop until it's around $9. You might want to look for it at a bounce at 30. You'll probably get a bounce at 25. You'll get another at 21. You'll get one at 17. You'll get another in around 12. We've had those bounces. There's 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. It's made people tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars trading options to make sure their position was okay. It's helped people improve their entries, so they got them from stupid high levels, like what is now adjusted $85, down to $30 or $25, so that I know one day those people will be able to get out of their trade in profit, and had they not managed that position, that would not be the narrative. So I do good work for good people, and I want them to survive, because when I go in a game, I'm going to need everyone with me to make a fucking difference, because I'm aware of who we're fighting, and it's really fucking difficult. You won't win with more money because we don't have more money. You won't win with more people because there aren't enough of us anymore. You win with smarts and skills and talent. We are the true sons and daughters of this fight. We know better than to succumb to the folly of, here, we're going to do this. We're going to invest in this shitty stock that doesn't actually make sense, and we're going to take it to being the biggest company in the world for no fucking reason. Nobody would want to join with you. It doesn't make sense. Nobody's interested in that. What they are interested in is seeing somebody stand up for what they believe in. They're interested in authenticity. Everybody's fed up of the post-truth universe. People want a real fucking touch point. They want a stone to pivot on. They want to move forward and know that they're going in the right direction. And that's very difficult in the world today, Max. It's really fucking difficult. So it takes somebody who makes those sacrifices, who puts people first, because he knows that down the right line, we're going again. And I'm going to be there again. And so are thousands of other people who wouldn't have been able to be otherwise. And this time, we're going to go that one step further. I don't care if we don't make it into their fucking house, pick up their bedroom and beat them to death with it. We'll get one step closer to the front door. And that one step closer is, close enough. Maybe close enough so they'll hear me when I tell them I'm coming for you. And I am coming for them. That's why, Max. Because we are the sons of daughters. We are the sons of daughters who don't succumb. We are the people that understand the emptiness that lies at the heart of their words. We know they're devoid of honor. They're dead in terms of wisdom. It's our duty. It's our solemn obligation to confront our enemies. Not with brute force, but with cunning and guile. And so that's where I add my power. An art of this war is like life itself. And victory doesn't belong to the swiftest, the smartest, or the strongest in life. It belongs to the one who outthinks, outmaneuvers, outwits their adversaries. It's those who have loyalty and stick with their friends. It's the empty space on the chessboard that holds the key to victory. Not everybody, not all these pawns we've got taken here on the side. Oh, look at me, I've got 7 pawns, Kenny's saying. No one gives a fuck. It's the empty space where the game is won. So I embrace that. I embrace everyone who's gone before me. The fight I've been in before. I've seen this happen. I've been on the hard end of this stick. I've seen the bank come and take. Take when they shouldn't. Take when they can't. Take when it's illegal. Illegally stealing a home and getting away with it. And in the face of every adversity I've ever challenged me, I've overcome. And I always overcome. So here's another opportunity to forge heroes with me. Through that cunning and resolve, that's how we emerge victorious. So rally to me. Rally to me. You too, Max. You too, Max. Don't tell me you don't want to make a fucking impact. Don't tell me you want to just flow with the fishes and, eat a couple of fish and get eaten by a fish and be a fucking fish. No, you want to be a fucking man. Stand up for this thing. What the fuck is the point in us? We could just be apes for real. We could just be fish for real if we're never going to fucking confront our enemies. So stand with me, loyal followers. Just as my eyes burn with determination and loyalty to this cause, so do thousands of other people. That's what I think, Max. In days long past, there were mightier voices than mine, more articulate. Unfortunately, I'm not able to garner the support and the numbers to make a difference on my own. But I see a sea of people in the chat box before me, and each one of them is a testament to this shared resilience we have. So thank you to all of you loyal followers who remain steadfast, who stay with me. You did not waver. You did not falter in your belief. Instead, you stood tall, you stood proud, you stood firm in your conviction. And that's why you have an obvious purpose. And the purpose itself so obvious that it begs the question why. And here we answer! Why and why again? Because there's nothing else. Because there's only this. And so we march forth, you, me, everybody else, into the unknown. And we are aflame with fire, with conviction, with spirit of undying resolve. And together there's nothing we can't achieve. Yeah, it's not a rant, it's a call to action. You're warriors of the digital age. You craft history now. People will always remember GameStop. Are they going to remember it like this? Are they going to remember it like... Do you think it's going to be remembered with parties, with rich people? Do you think it's going to be remembered with pathetic 17% move in price and then it kicked back down to the... No! That's these moments when prices move these, just part of the story, just a turning of the page. The actual history is written. This is not the way it ends. My tone, your reaction, lift the fist in defiance. Fuck the bastards. And I'm used to conquering things. I'm used to conquering challenges. So here we go. We go again. My fellow investors. And we're speaking candidly now because Max brought up the question about the current state of affairs surrounding our endeavours and the stock price. It's no secret that there exists a feverish and irrational fever surrounding the board at particular moments or how prices are going to react around event-based news. And we nod somberly when we see these conversations, but we don't get blinded by the allure of meme investing. We don't get carried away with TradeSpotting's passion. We invest at the lows. We buy it at the point when we're most able to see how we'll carry that position forward based on artifacts on the charts. We remember the stock market isn't a playground for speculation on whimsical investments. It's a realm governed by the principles of sound judgment and proper scientific approach to your trades. And of course, we're not going to constantly be just chucking money at something no matter the price. We want to do it, guide our own actions with each other's collective wisdom and all the experience and skills. Thank you so much, Nick. Shout out to my dad. Fucking love him. So we're going to harness our collective power. We're not going to falter. The winds of change, they blow strong. I implore you to stand firm. So that's why we do it, Max. There's loads of other reasons. You know, everybody has their own reasons. Some people, they've got nothing other than that they want to make profit. And I'm here for them too, because they're probably not making profit for its own sake, right? They probably need money. And I want to help those people too. No matter what, I want to help people. If you're long and that's your way of making money off GameStop, go for it, man. No way I can do anything but help. Joe. Yesterday in gaming. That was an amazing speech. Glad I came at the right moment to hear it. Now that's part of my story. Thank you, Yesterday in Gaming. You coming today means you're part of my conversation. You're part of my history. Thanks. I appreciate it. Okay, so this has been a great show. Nick, $9.99 for your dad. Thank you so much, Nick. Ace Ventura, great to see you, Ace. $2. Yo, Ace. Minner, $25 from Minner. Minner, you tall legend. Thanks. Great catching up there. Some chick, $25. $25. Some chick, how you do? Wow, that's brilliant support. Thank you so much. Fucking hell, that's 25, tenner. That's $60. And $2, $62. Thank you so much. That's really appreciated. $62. Really appreciated. Thank you so much for Nat, Nick, Ace, Minner, and some chick. It's really appreciated. I'm going to make a show for Andrew. I'm going to do the work offline so that I can give him the best possible advice and upload the video later. I know most of the people here won't be interested in those tickers, so if you want to watch it, you can choose to do so. If you want any more advice on GameStop, I cover it here on the channel. I do a big update every month where I talk about the risks, the probabilities, the artifacts that should be relevant, and what's likely to happen between now and the next big update. I also cover it regularly on the channel. I do a show every day apart from Wednesdays and the weekends, because on Wednesdays I'm watching Rocky's crypto show, which makes since last October, that's been where I've changed, that's where the majority of my life improvement comes from. L. Baker Matthews, just so brilliant, supporting the show all the time, and another $20 there as well. Thank you so much. I'll tell you that's appreciated. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for supporting the show. That's really appreciated. Right, so you can do it anyway. You know, a lot of people don't have that ability, and I thank you so much for those people who do that. You can also support the show by hitting the like button. If you join the Discord, it's free. The link should be in the description. If not, it's www.discord.gg/Rocky Outcrop. If you're interested in trading, you're serious about it, you've got a really good group of people there who'll help you. You can upgrade, but it's free to join in the first instance. And hitting the like, that really helps me so much. If you hit the like button, that's huge. That tells YouTube that you enjoyed watching this show. And if you haven't subscribed and you do subscribed, I appreciate it, right? If you're just a second viewing or you're been here before, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And a big shout out to all of those people who supported the channel and the lieutenants on the Discord. You guys inspire me every single day. Thank you so very much. Fucking so we're guided by reason, and we enjoy the memes, but we're never going back to reasonable land. Remember, there is no rush to being rich, and there's plenty of wealth in waiting to be right. Lots of wannabes, but only one of me. Guitar outside with 5 memberships. Legend. Don sees your Shadium. Don, oh, my Shadium must be showing. Death of a Banana Freeze. Liquid Vehicle, Guitar outside. Legend. Alc was gifted membership as well. Alc, a legend. Great. That's short of you. Don't these good names. You lucky folks. Cheers, Jake. Thanks very much, Guitar outside. It's appreciated. You legend. So I had a point to end on, but I can't remember what it was, so I was kind of reaching for it there. Did you notice? What was the point I wanted to make? I offered my thanks. I was very grateful. What was it after that? Something came to me that I wanted to mention. Well, I always think it's important that people that trade crypto are aware of Rocky's shows on Wednesdays, because it is a life-changing show. It's ridiculously good value, considering it's free. That doesn't make sense. It's a really good show. You should totally check it out. Lol, sorry, Jimmy. Go for it again. I mean, there was no better interruption. There was no better interruption, Guitar outside. Guitar outside himself, a total legend. You know, so many people watching each other's journey through life and things, and being brought together by such unusual things here. And that sense of community that everybody gets. Fucking brilliant. Perpman, I just joined the Discord. Well, if you're on the Discord, welcome Perpman. It'd be great to see. Everyone would love to see you there. And everyone's really good help. Thanks very much, Perpman. Appreciate it. Okay, so. Wait, hey, Stonkowski, you legend as well. How come I'm not seeing these on the thingy, but they're coming up there? Maybe my thingy's slow. Sararararara. So, thank you very much, Guitar. Be frank. I'm a man after my own heart there, Be Frank. So, this is me in the kitchen again. Oh yeah, on Discord I was going to share the name of that pub. Yo, Furtado. So, this is it, right? We're in a fight. The fight doesn't change, you know. I've probably share that trailer I made on YouTube a while ago. But, like, the fight isn't changing, you know. It's the same thing. Back at it tomorrow, guys. Right? I mean, a lot of us would have been maybe hoping that in future it was going to get a little easier. Well, it isn't. It's not getting easier. It's not getting easier. But you wouldn't have wanted it that way. If it had happened, you wouldn't have wanted it. This is the way it was meant to happen. We're going to get this. We're going to keep working at this. Not in any way that compromises our own financial stability. We're all going to be sensible, safe, and wise. If you want any help to make sure that nothing bad happens to you with regards to your trading, especially if it's anything to do with GameStop, I will help you. No worries, just ask. There's Reynaldo Moreno in the chat. You have to check out his YouTube channel. Reynaldo Moreno has an amazing voice and should be a famous singer. He's also brilliant at guitar, which is a fantastic combination to find in a musician. Check out Reynaldo Moreno. You'll absolutely love his music. These hands are diamond. He's a freaking diamond. So thank you very much. I definitely had a point to make there again, which I also forgot. I'm sure it was important. Would have been fantastic. I'm sure of it. If I can help you with GameStop, I will. We know what we're doing. It's the empty piece, empty space in the chessboard. That's what we're aiming for. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much, Guitar Outside, for those fantastically generous donations. Welcome to the membership, you guys. If you want to renew that, keep that membership going, I would absolutely love it. If you get one for somebody else, even better. Maybe they'll keep it going too. Thanks. Welcome to the family, everybody. I'm always here for you. Lots of wannabes, only one of me. Yes, and it's in the face of adversity that true heroes are forged. So when we find it to be a little bit difficult, that's the way we wanted it. We wouldn't have taken it easier. I'm a reflection of the amazing folks here. See that? What a fucking nice guy. This is really, really positive culture we've got here. I appreciate it lots. Thanks to all of you good people for keeping it that way. Max, I hope that answered your question. I know that you might be somebody who's like not necessarily positive about GameStop, but asking that question, I totally understand where you're coming from. And I think that on the balance, I don't think it's a bad thing that there are people that don't like GameStop, that have their own perspective. And I respect everybody's opinion. So thanks for coming, Max. Don't want to you to feel like the force of my argument was directed towards you. Not at all. And I did notice that you put in a nice comment about my dad. I appreciate that above all else. Thanks very much. So everybody, be kind to each other, of course. Tell me to fuck off if you don't want to be. It's up to you what you do. Love you guys. Bye. See you in the next one. Hit that like button. Tomorrow for the Rocky show. I muted Max. That's on me.